Hello all. This is the second part of our discussion on pandas. I'll continue in the same notebook where we have discussed some of the basic functions, how to describe a data frame, how to create a data frame, and how to use some attributes like shape, size, index, values, right, and the data types and the columns. We have understood that part. We also read the data frame using read the files using pandas function called read CSV. Similarly, we can write back to some CSV or some file based on the whatever type you are working with. You can write to CSV or JSON or Excel. So there are various file formats we can directly write into, as well as we can read from. Okay, so some of the functions like fill NA, info, describe, drop, drop NA. So those are some of the functions we have experienced. I think I hope you understand these things. Then the operations, we can form the expressions into the data frame to filter out the data, right, to filter out the rows and columns based on these conditions. For example, if age is greater than 65 and if the passenger is survived, we are printing those. Okay, so similarly we can do so many other such filter conditions we can put and filter out our data. Okay, that's a quick thing, very easy, very powerful. If you have so much of data, it gives you a good tool to explore that data, understand how many males, how many females with some particular age, right, age group, or in between some particular age group, right. So what are the fares, who all, this all information helps us to really explore that, and then eventually we derive some of the relationship between these variables. Okay, so other function like unique is a function, then string functions we can apply. Okay, that's the last part what we have seen in the last video. Now let's move on and explore a bit more functions here. So especially we have seen some basic functions. On top of it, we can see some more things. For example, let's say df dot suppose we have age. Okay, so I can also have a between function. Okay, and in between we can find, let's say, 40 to 60 age group. Okay, so let me see what is my y. Okay, I think I have to rerun this to get my data frame. Let me import as well, just a moment. Yeah, I have to import. Yeah, here, right. So this is where I'm getting the file. Let me just run everything, and now I can see that data frame has no attribute age. Okay, age means a capital, I think. Okay, yeah, I can get that. Let me get an entire data frame, and I see that these are the passengers. I see how many number of passengers who in between this age. Yeah, in between this age group we find total 141 passengers. Okay, so interesting. So here we can understand how to filter out data with various mechanism. So there is also a very important function I'm going to explain you now, is sort values. Okay, sort values is another very important function, and look at this. It gives you error. It says that at least one argument is required, missing one required positional argument, that is y, sorry, by. Okay, so here if you see, by is the first positional argument which is required, and rest of the arguments are not mandatory because there is a default value. So those keyword arguments you can either pass or you can ignore them. We can use the default one. So by, okay, sort by what? Okay, this is the table you have. This is the table where you have data, and out of this you want to sort based on, let's say, name or maybe passenger ID. It is already sorted based on passenger ID. So maybe you can you can sort based on the age. Let's try it. Okay, first we have to check where age is of type float. Okay, so we can try this. Okay, let's see. If I want to try, now I want to sort by age. Sorry, I have to put it in a single quote. Yeah, now I can see that the data has been sorted based on the age. Okay, but there is some problem it seems, because I see 42, 67, 83, 92, then later on 1, 2 and so on. Okay, no, not 42, it is 0.42, 0.67, 0.75 and so on. And how come, what is the date, age here? Age is 22. Okay, so this is numbers, right? 22, 38 and so on. So why we are getting so small numbers? Let me just check the data once again for 100 rows. Sort values, df1, length of df1 is, yeah, the whole length, we got it. df1 dot df1 dot head, let's say 100 rows I want to see. So the age values we are seeing is the 14, 15. Okay, I think we are getting good information, but it seems there are some age which is not the correct, or maybe that is correct. There may be babies in the Titanic. So I don't know, but somehow I can see that the age is there, but which is a very small value, like 0.42, 0.67 and so on, right? There are 1 year, 2 year kids, 2 year babies as well, the 3 years and so on. So 13, 14, I can see so many ages here, right? So maybe what we can do is we can do and get, let's say, first 300, okay, and we can perhaps see some bigger ages now. Yeah, 25, maybe let me take first 500, so I can see some more, like up to 36. Yeah, so this seems we are good. So 700, you got up to 63. So you can check what is the value, what is the minimum value, maximum value, or the less than 10 years passengers. We can do all these things, right? The point I was trying to explain is the sort values function. Okay, we can very well check that how we can sort based on some particular value. So, and this is not going to happen unless you assign back to the same variable, right? So this is not a in place change going to happen. Look at this, for example. Yeah, here is what you have done. I will just print head, first few columns. So same way. Now suppose if I want to see df dot head, okay, df dot head still gives me the first age is 22, right? So that means it is not sorted. So the sorting happens, but it has not actually assigned back. That means it is not in place sorting. Okay, so the alternative to this is you can think about using in place, and in place true means now your original data got replaced. Okay, so you have to be sure sure if you want to make a in place, because your original data frame is now getting affected, right? So let me go back and run import that file again, because I want my original data without the sorted order, right? So let me yeah, till now okay. So I don't want to use in place here. I'll just comment it out. Okay, so once we are done, so what we can do is I will also try and get one more option here. Okay, so the option I'm trying to make it here is let me write down, yeah, here. So there is something called ascending or descending. Okay, by default the sorting happens on the ascending, because ascending is true. Sometimes you may want to sort in the descending order. Okay, so we have to make it false. Okay, the moment you do so, you will see the highest age is placed here. So 80 years, then 74 years, and 71 years, and so on and so forth, right? So that's how we can do sorting as well, based on the age and based on the ascending or descending order, right? What order you want to perhaps print. Okay, so there is also a provision. Let me see if I can print more data here. Yeah, I have 70. Yeah, 70 years there are 2 passengers, 71 years there's 2 passengers, say 65 there are 2 passengers, right? So sometimes we may want to sort based on 2 variables, right? So let's try and explore that. There is a provision here. You can sort by age, and if you find same age group, then I want to sort based on their name, suppose. So A should be first and then G. That's right, this is good. So the second is 70 years, so I want to go alphabetically. So this name should come first, then this one, right? So we can try and apply that. So there is a provision. So what we can do is we can give here sort by age and then name. Okay, and then I want to keep it first is descending order, and the second I want to keep it as true. Okay, so that the the first is look at this, the first is as it is, but the second is 70, so we got this cross P up, and then the second is here, right? So similarly, so now it means simply that the sorting happens based on 2 variables. Okay, sometimes it's very important, we want to sort based on 1 variable. If we get many entries of that particular category, we want to sort based on some other variable. Okay, suppose there are 100 people with the same age of 71. Okay, so it's difficult to even make another filter, right? So here itself we can put another filter, like we can sort based on the name, so that easily we can identify, we can find out where that passenger is. Okay, so remember we can use in place, I'll just remove this head option. So we can use in place equal to true to make these changes in memory, right? Then and there itself, that means inside a data frame. So we don't want to actually change this, so I'm just not using the in place argument or option there. Okay, so yeah, so this is about some of the basic things with pandas, and another important function we studied is the sort values. Okay, so let's understand there's a couple of other important things. For example, sometimes you may want to use based on some indexing, you want to get some details, some data, right? So just imagine this is your original data frame where you have first index, second index, sorry, 0th index, first index, second index, and so on. Okay, and I said earlier also this indexing is maintained when you want to access something. So suppose at first index you want to get the details, and you are getting the details for this particular passenger. Okay, you may want to get direct passenger details for a particular index, 6th index, that is the 7th employee in the table here, right, from the sequence. So iloc is a function which which is used to get you the specific location based on the index, right? iloc location, right? I means index location. So it identifies, it takes it to the index location directly. Okay, so since we can use iloc like indexing we used for numpy arrays or list or strings, so we can also do slice this. Okay, and this is great, right? So that means out of our 891 records, we can only pull out whatever we are looking for. 2:4 means right starting from second index up to 4th index, but not including 4th index. That means second and third index passengers are displayed here. Okay, so iloc is a very important function, and many times we need to use this function, and this function we can use and get whatever exact details we are looking for. Many times this is a useful function. Okay, now suppose I will also help you understand there is one more function called df.lock. Okay, this is working based on a location. Okay, so yeah, not with this, this is for a column, but yeah, we can have some indexes as well. Okay, here it works because the 2 is the name of the index I'm giving. 3 is the name of the index as a name, as the index we are giving, but there is an index as well. I'll create another dictionary for simple use, and that time I will probably explain you how we can get from the indexes. Let me get one dictionary here. df1 equal to pd dot data frame, and I'll create from a dictionary. So day maybe 1 2 3 4, then let's say visitors colon, let's say there are visitors, maybe 1000 people visited on day 1, maybe 900, maybe 1200, maybe 1200. Okay, I'm just giving some numbers. Okay, it does not have any significance as such. The third is let's say I'll just use something bounce rate, suppose. Okay, here I will have, let's say, 10 12 20 41. Okay, and then yeah, that's it. I think we are good with this. The second argument we can also provide is index. Okay, here index can be 1 2 3 4. If I don't give index, remember what happens. Okay, df1 dot head. Okay, we don't have to do head here because we have small data here, right? So this is how the by default indexing looks like. Okay, now remember, I will copy this code here and let me remove the last portion here. So you can very well see that, right? Line number 70, you can see that this is just a data frame we are creating, but now by default the indexing happened. Now in the second example, okay, let me just remove these spaces to make sure that all things you can see in the single screen. Okay, good. So here now df, if sorry, not df, it is a df1, right? So here df1, you can see the indexes, whatever indexes you have given here. Okay, now remember, now df1 dot ilog. Okay, at 0th index you get the first row. Okay, but if you are using df1 dot log, you have to give 1 because 1 is the location for the same record, right? Look at this, because the name of the index is here 1, so you may use any other names. Okay, there is no mandate to use only the numbers. Here you can use a comma b comma c comma d. Okay, so this is how indexing can also be done. And here if you see 0th index, you get the first record, and also you can retrieve the first record using a is the index, right? So location is directly going to a location where we want to get this particular data, and ilog is going to the location based on the index. Okay, so that's important difference. This is a very important difference one should know. So what is the difference between ilog and what is ilog and log? So ilog going to a location based on the index, and log goes to the location based on ilog goes on the index number. Okay, directly the 0th position or first position or second position, and log is going to the index based on the name of the indexes. Okay, it works on to get to the rows or columns with the labeled indexes, right? So I write here to get rows, or you can also get columns. By the way, you have to just specify that then from the index. Okay, and ilog is to get the rows columns with the position in the index. Okay, so this is quick description. This might be useful for your references to get rows columns from rows columns with positions in the index. Okay, So yeah, that's the difference. That's a quick difference. I thought of sharing here. Yeah, so this is how we can use uh, the basic function for iloc and lock. Many times you can slice. For example, df is your Titanic data set. I will check here the df dot iloc, and you may want to get first 5 or 6 uh, 0 1 2 3 4, okay, yeah, first 6 rows, okay, or you may want to get the columns as well, right? As I already discussed earlier, let me try. It should work, but let me try it, if it gives me the data. Okay, so yeah, oh no, cannot slice on the index class in the indexers id. Okay, I think this to work this way, I think I need to get the passengers lock passenger id and the name, let's say. Okay, I'll give comma. No, I think the label based indexing should work here. Df dot passenger id. Let me see what went wrong here. Key error, passenger id. Okay, name passenger id not found. Yeah, that's right. Df dot passenger id, you are getting a lot of details. No, this is not good. I think this should work. I just have to use this. Maybe I will have to use one more bracket. No, okay, I think I need to check this. Name none of the index that are in the label index. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to use, there is a label based indexing that is possible with LOC. Okay, so LOC, it can be used based on the labels. For example, let me get one more data set. I will try to get you with from the Excel this time. Let's say read pd dot read csv and home Chibure data, and let's say I want to use one Excel file, and let me check if I find something called Superstore. Yeah, I think I find it one. Yeah, so no, yeah, not CSV, it is a Excel, correct? So this time I'm reading a Excel file, Excel sheet. So this is a Excel sheet, a special file. So we have to open it with a read Excel function. Okay, so here you will see that there are so much of information about the Superstore. There's a order ID, the row ID, then the order date, shipment and mode of shipment, customer ID, lot many information for many customers you can see. Okay, df dot columns. Okay, it will show you so much of the information about the various parameters or various features of this particular data. Okay, so df dot loc, for example, I want to use let's say region wise we will try and segregate the data. Okay, so how to do that? Let me try df dot region. Okay, if it is equal to what are the regions available? South. Let's take it south. I want to get all the data of south region. Yeah, I think this is giving us. So if we want to get the south region data, we can try and get this information using the condition check, the expression which we have discussed earlier, and we can print some specific data. Okay, now so we can try. I think we should be able to check the count as well. Let me see. Yeah, for this region count compared to this count, yeah, there are a lot of records, almost 10,000, close to 10,000 records are there. Out of that, the south region, we can find there are a less number of records compared to the overall records. So we can use this particular small data set out of the original bigger data set to represent something. Okay, now let me check the country city. Yeah, I'll try to get the country. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so I was talking about, yeah, this is the data for a superstore. Okay, we got so many details about each of the customers here. The columns we can see, many columns, and the the region specific data we can take. So I will write df equal to df and df and the region specific. So this is a subset, obviously a subset of your original data set. and you could see that this whole data is now for the south region. Okay, so there is a lot of customers we got from the south region. We can check the count, and you can check here. The count is a function you can check. So those many records, you can check info. You will see that what are the types of these features are, then what are the features, how many, is there anything missing. It seems nothing is missing here. So this gives you a fair idea about what data set you are working with. And you can also count some more information, like how many values you find for a particular column. If you are looking for example city, let's say, right? So df dot city dot value counts. Okay, no, city, I think C capital. Yes, that's right, C is capital. Okay, you can see that how many Jacksonville is 125, like Columbus is 68, and Richmond is 61, Miami is 57, and so on, right? So this is something, the counts you are getting from each of these categories. So we can do that. And moreover, we have one more functionality, that is something called group by functionality. Now we will be discussing about group by soon, right? So this gives you a count how many customers you got from. So this is a very good insight from your data, isn't it? So let me just get the top 5 customer for 5 cities, right? So that's how we can get the first top 5 cities. So this is how we can print top 5 city customers, right? So which are the cities where we find a top number of customers in this particular data set. So let's move on to the next function. There are a couple of important functions we are going to discuss today. Group by, and second is apply. Okay, so let me write down a small quick thing here. So sometimes we may want to apply something yeah something on the data. Suppose you want to get only those customers whose or maybe only those customers whose total bill amount, is there a bill amount, sales, yeah, sale. Okay, sales is there, right? And what is the type of a sales here? Let me see. Sales is a float type, right? So I want to get only those customers whose sale is greater than $500, let's say. Okay, so how to do that? I'm sure this is easy. df dot sales if it is greater than $500. Okay, so how many are there? Let me check if it is true. Yeah, it seems like 731, 900, and then so on, right? So how many of such customers we have? Okay, 199. Okay, so good. I mean, we can just consider or focus on only those customers whose sale is greater than 500. In fact, I will make it greater than 800, and let's see. Yeah, I think we have okay, there are so many customers. Maybe I'll go with greater than 2000. That makes more sense. Okay, I'm just trying to narrow down our problem because sometimes it's easy for us to get a subset of data and work on that, or maybe I want to get some special discount or offers or some kind of a membership for these customers. So that could be the reason customer store manager may want to have this kind of information as well. Okay, so I want to get only the top. Okay, here you can also do sort values. Maybe we can try if it works. I think it should work. So we will see if we can sort values by the sales. Okay, and in the descending order. Okay, yeah, I can see that there's a 22,000. Yeah, it seems the sorting happened. It's a huge database now we find, and I can see that some of the data, right? The top 5. I got top 5 here. Top 5 dot. Okay, I will drop some of the columns. Okay, I want to see the prices here somewhere. Okay, so let's drop quickly. Drop. I want to drop few value columns here, right? So this is of no use for me. The order ID is of no use for me. Okay, then order date is of no use to me. Then shipment date is not required, and what shipment mode, not important. So I'm just trying to do some kind of exercise, or trying to understand what all things we can do. Okay, so with the data, right? Postal code is of no use, let's say. Okay, and a product ID. Probably I don't want to use even product ID. Okay, I have to specify the axis here, axis equal to 1, and I want to make it a in place change. Okay, be cautious. If you are doing in place, you have to make sure that you are using the right uh, operation here, right function and the argument. So here I can see the all the things, all the products are now most of the parameters are visible to me. Customer ID, customer name, segment, right, and so on. So maybe I can still delete couple of if I want. I can make it little smaller data set again. Maybe customer ID is of not much use. So let's try this out here. Then segment may not be much useful as well. Okay, and axis equal to 1 and in place equal to yeah, actually it is drop D, in place equal to true. Okay, here I go, I have this much information now. Okay, so there is a profit, there is a loss, there is a sales total, there is a quantity, discount, and those are all sorted here. So these are the top 5 customers whose sales is the topmost share of sales, right? So we can have this and try and explore, understand how how we are actually working with the data set. So there is a couple of important functions before I really group by this whole data. Anyway, we can group by the DF because DF has a more data, but here we have only top 5 customers whose sales is is something, right? Some is greater than some particular amount. It's the topmost customers. Okay. So let me also do one more thing here, a small brief quick thing. So we can use top 5 and sales dot apply function. Okay, apply is another function where we can apply some functionality on each column, right, each value of the column. Let's say I want to apply the integer function on all of this data points here, right? So suddenly you see that the floats are converted to integer. So what is happening internally is it is taking sales numbers, this is the number, it is converting to real integer number. That means the apply function is now doing this particular functionality is applied on each value of this particular column. Okay, can I do the same thing with let's say customer name? Obviously it should allow me to do that, but here it will give error because we can't apply integer on a string. So in fact here I can do one thing, I can apply length and I will find what are the names of the length of the names, right? So Cian Miller is 11 characters including space, so and so on, right? Patrick O'Brill, right? So his total length is 15 characters. So this is the kind of a small important function, apply function. You can do that on any data set. For example, let's say df.head, you can see this is our original data set with lot of lot of data available, but this is also a sorted data. So df means it is only the south region data which we have already done in the some time back. So on this data set, suppose on a particular column I want to have some kind of check, or somehow I have to perform some operation on a particular data, suppose. Okay, so we can use this the apply function on which column we want to use, that we have to decide. So let me see. Which okay, I want to subtract some amount from the sales. Okay, and that I want to apply to all the customers in the data set. Okay, let's say sales I will use, and then I want to apply a functionality on that. okay, and I will just pass the func. Okay, so we have to write func here, define a func here, and whatever is passed we should subtract and return. Okay, x minus let's say $5, that is parking amount, parking, let's say. Okay, so this is what I want to make sure that this is applied on every bill, every invoice for the customers, let's say, right? So this is how I can do. Let's say we apply the functionality on the sales, and then we can use this. So let me type this to get the entire data frame. So I think we have done already. df.sales apply and this particular functionality, right? Okay, so we can just assign this back so that your df will have the invoice amount less $5, right? So look at this, it was somewhere around 261 something, some change. Now we can see that 256. So that means the apply function is now getting applied on each value of a sales column. Okay, that's interesting, a very useful function. Okay, so same thing you can also do without writing the another separate function. Here you can use lambda x, and you are just doing a subtraction of $5, that is a parking amount you want to subtract from every passenger, every customer, sorry. Okay, here we go, and you see that the change has happened, and another $5 got deducted, right, from the sales volume. Okay, sales amount. Okay, this is just to help you understand how apply function can be used. Now let me work with the group by function. Okay, here df.head, this is our function, our data. Now I want to group this data based on some maybe the city, or maybe based on the region. I will go with the original data this time, and I want to group based on the region. Okay, so this is the data I want to copy. Just hold on, here I go and I copy. Okay, I got this whole data. Now I want to do df dot group by, and I want to see what this function takes, right? By default it takes none. So if you want to group by with some particular variable, you can do so. So you have to use the variable name, let's say region. Okay, but group by returns a group by object. It does not give you directly the groups, but yes, you can do run a loop over there and get the the regions and the data set, right? So you get x comma y in G. Okay, and print let's say y, and let's see what it gives. Okay, so here you can see a lot much of information here. So you can see row ID, order date, shipment date, and shipment mode. Okay, first of all, let me, before I apply this, let me help you with some smaller data set, because this might make you little confusion. It might create some confusion. So better I will drop some of these columns. Okay, df dot columns, and I want to drop, let's say, first few columns. Okay, to make it a simpler and smaller data set. Okay, so and then maybe I will also drop this, and what else? Product name, sales, quantity, discount, profits, region, postal code, let's say. In place equal to true and axis equal to 1. So we have dropped. Okay, let's see what it gives. Still I have a lot of data: customer name, country, city, so and what else? I have 3, 4, Okay, another two categories, right? Product ID, category and subcategory. Product ID, category, subcategory. I can remove all these things, I think. Okay, category, subcategory, product ID, and the product name. I'm not interested in all these things. Okay, let me get this once again with all the data, and let's see what I see here, right? So customer name is something I can remove as well, and then sales, quantity, discount, and profits. Now I will remove further things. The first of all, I would like to remove customer name, the country, and the city. Let it be. That's it. Then let me get country and then inside a quote, and then I will add a city inside a quote. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Now I can see it in the single state, region, sales. Yeah, state, region, sales, and quantity, discount, and profit. So only these 6 columns are there. Now region, I get all the central data here. Okay, you see this much is the central data. Then I get east region. Again I continue and see all the east region, then the south region, and so on. So that means our original data frame. Okay, let me repeat. I repeat here. Let me add your original data frame, which looks something like this. Okay, which has just, I have printed only this much data is there, but there are so many records, by the way, right? So how many total? I haven't changed whatever, almost 10,000 we have. Those many details are still there, right? 9,994. So those many records are there, but I have just removed some of the columns, so we can do that. This is what the Pandas helps us to do. So this time I see that the region, state, sales, quantity, discount, and profit. So these are 6 columns, and we can see the group by helps us to get the data based on the groups. Okay, I print here the value of, that means the group here. Suppose if I want to only print for group, a particular group, let's say if x equal to south. Okay, so this time I want to print only the south data. See, the south region, so all the data is having only south, right? So if you make this as a separate separate data frame, so you will be having total length of south is total 1620 records which belongs to south. Okay, and I'm sure we have done something earlier as well, a similar thing where we have filtered out only the south data using the direct comparison with the value here, right? So let me take you to that. Yeah, here. So based on the region, we have pulled out a particular group. So group by does little on the better way. The reason is it will group every object. You may have many regions, right? You cannot have that keep on adding this different checks, but instead you can have the south data or your west or whatever central, whatever data you're looking for. Such kind of groups are getting created using group by object. Okay, that means a group by function. So we are grouping by region. Okay, you can group by city, you can group by whatever features you are looking for. So group by is very useful function. Many times you can you can check what you are getting. So group by, based on group, that group name is given and the data frame is given for you. Okay, so this is how the group by function works, and there are a couple of more important functions I want to explain. Let me use df1. I have, okay, I have days, visitors, bounce rate. I'll use this one. Okay, and there is some indexing as well. So I will use this one to explain you one more function called merge. Okay, that's another important function. So we should know. So let me use you know the df. I will create another data frame, and here also I will use, let's say, day, kind of a same. I will just use same. Okay, and then visitors. This time I will use little different value, maybe 100, 200, 130 and 340. Yeah, let me just remove this. Yes, this is a visitors, and now we have let's say bounce rate. We can use the same column again. Bounce rate 10, 23, 24, 31. Okay, anything, just some numbers I'm trying to give. And then I will use index equal to A, B, C and D. Okay, df2. Let's see. Yeah, I got these two data frames. Okay, let's try and explore. There is something called a merge function. So merge function, if you check the help page, it says that how you can join multiple tables or multiple data frames together, with the help of whether what kind of join you want to achieve. It is like a SQL database join operations. So how you want to join? There's a left data set, there is a left data frame, and there's a right data frame. So you want to merge based on the whatever criteria you are giving. By default it does inner join, so we provide a how option as an inner, so that is an inner join. So you can provide inner join, you can do inner join using a how option which is given. So you can try this out with the different options here. Let me give df1, df2, and I want to merge on some kind of a key probably, right? Maybe you can have some primary key type of thing. Here suppose I want to go with day and a bounce rate, let's say. Let me see what happens here, right? So the column, the data it is available with you, having days, day, visitors, bounce rate, day, visitor, bounce rate. So out of these two data frames, you are merging this data based on two features or two variables. One is day, so 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the common days. The only first day where the bounce rate is 10, and that is the common, right? That means this is something by default inner join is happening. So usually if you have a data, you can use like this. Suppose there is one data set like this, and there is some other data set, and there is some common common variables or common data available. So this is the section. Okay, we want to get it, so this is called inner join, correct? So this particular section is what it has pulled out using this particular command. Merge is very useful function. You can merge all the data based on your need. For example, pd.merge, again I will use df1 comma df2, and how you want to merge, you can specify how equal to outer join, right? So sometimes we have done earlier it is by default the inner join. This time outer join means obviously the whole data we are actually considering, right? All the data of this data set as well as the other data set and the common as well. So there are different options, left outer join, right outer join. So that will be a different problem. If you want to use that way, you have different options. You can check the help page of merge. You see what all things you can give. The how option, left, right, outer and inner. By default it is inner, which we have seen. So outer we have just seen. So if you just get the left join, so that means you will get all the records from your left data frame, and similarly right. So you could explore this, and this is quite interesting thing when you have to deal with multiple sources of data in data science projects. You may have to merge based on your need. Okay, So yeah, so that is how you can use multiple options. We can use the merge option as per your need. Okay, I will also explain you one more quick example for using a concat function. Maybe you can just try pd dot concat, and if you give df1 comma df2 and you see what happens. So the concatenation happened, one table, one particular data frame, and after that there is another data frame. So this is a concatenation, and merge works on some key, some value, some key there, and based on the how you are trying to merge, right? That's the difference between merge and concat. So concat is used to concatenate two data frames, and merge is used to merge. Okay. You can also use rename. That's another function I just recall. I'm trying to explain you. Rename, first of all, df1. Now I want to rename bounce rate with some other column. Okay, so there is a rename function. Here we can pass the value as the key which you want to change, and change with what. So suppose bounce rate you want to use this way. Okay, so df1 still does not have that change, so perhaps you could try if in place option is there. Yes, it is there, and you see now the bounce rate, oops, why it has not changed. df1 rename, okay, bounce rate. Okay, so the bounce rate is okay, I think I have to use a columns option. Yeah, it worked now, but the change has not reflected. So what we can do is in place equal to true will change in place, right? In memory change happens. So this is how a rename function can be used. The list is huge, so there are so many things to discuss on pandas. So there are so many other functions, lot many functions you have to explore, learn, and use as and when we need to do something. Okay, so definitely I think this is the foundation. This is where the basics I have covered, the whatever functions and operations I have done in this entire notebook. Very important, almost everywhere you have to be comfortable with these commands. Okay, I hope you understand each and everything whatever I have discussed. So if you have any questions, please drop a comment so that I can take it the separate questions. But I want you guys to practice this. So every command, every data, whatever we have done, the operations, this needs practice. So even if you understand, at least try and practice 2 times. That will definitely make you much comfortable using pandas. Okay, and pandas is the foundational package, very important package to work with data going forward on the data science projects. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you.